So when you don't live in the hood anymore, you can literally get the things that you need. That's very surprising. I had to ask for paint, like, oh, it's open. I'm like, what? So finally, I had some parts dropped off a couple weeks ago. I didn't really post this video, so it's kind of like all one segment. But we're on our way to pick up some parts I had chrome dipped. One of them is my torque mount for my motor, which I definitely need to get, and my velocity stacks for my A-sport ITBs. I've been really like trying to find a good like local chrome shop, just because that the guy I used to go to, he closed up shop, and I didn't want to go to LA to have some chrome work done, and I don't know anybody else in San Diego. So luckily this shop is in Escondido, and the turnaround wasn't too bad. So on my way to go pick this stuff up and then put these ITBs together. All right, so I got the parts back. Time to install my velocity stacks on the ITBs. I don't know, a lot of people are very different on, building their cars. Like, a lot of people always say like chrome is made for like, lowriders and whatnot. Obviously a lot of older cars, chrome was like a big thing. And for some of us that are still, in the Honda scene or just building cars in general, I feel like, whether you powder coat, Cerakote, whatever, or chrome, nickel, gold dip, copper dip, everyone's doing it the way they want it. And for me, it's just that little extra touch. So I just unwrapped the velocity stacks. Like I just said, I had these chrome dipped. This is the A-sport torque mount that actually goes on the block, so they basically mount like this. I just gotta clean them off, and then these I'm gonna put back on our manifold. Got changed some of the bolts. Actually, I'm about to go to the store. There's a few things I want to change. I'm just like really tedious on things like these, and so the part where it mounts the head, this is for a B16. The rest of this though, this part of the manifold, it's actually from my 86 Corolla. So the TPS sensor, this is a TPS sensor for 86 Corolla. So it's for a B series motor, B16 or a Type R. Yeah, I don't know how the way A-Sports designed their ITBs. I don't know. Maybe it's just something how they made it back then. I don't really know all the information on it, but I've always wanted an ITB set up, and it was either gonna be ITBs or I was gonna boost the car. And I bought the ITBs before I even had my motor. I bought these, and I updated the fuel pressure regulator, but this AM, not fuel pressure. This is the gauge for the fuel. This AM fuel pressure regulator is kind of old, so I'm gonna update that with a black one, and it does have an Edelbrock OG Edelbrock fuel rail. I might even change this to an AM just so it kind of flows with the I'm actually running some AM stuff on the motor, and these are Acura, I think they're RDX or MDX injectors. So I might even, when I take this apart, I'm gonna have these clean, make sure they're good. If not, I'll upgrade to some aftermarket injectors. But I just want to just clean this up. Like I'm very tedious on every little thing. A lot of guys that do know me and saw my previous build in my old hatch, like I always got compliments on my block. Like all my boys were like, yo, you can just eat off that motor because it's so clean. And so I'm just very, I don't want to say I have OCD. I have slight OCD. I'm just really nitpicky on how I build things, and I go in depth on every single part. So we're gonna put these on, or put these on the manifold. But before that, I gotta run to the store and get all these nuts. So I'm gonna take these off and just take one, and then I'm gonna just get one of these off, run to not Harbor Freight, run to Ace Hardware, because I'm gonna show you guys a little hack here in a bit. So like I was saying earlier, how the manifold basically is for B16, but you see this where it's welded, even right here, these are welded on. There's one there, and then this one, and these are those two bolts that are up here. Bam. So this is what we're dealing with. Then it's not an issue, but it's pretty cool just to see, like, you know, most of my ITBs, you know, everything's nice and clean. But I'm really interested in finding out, you know, the history of A-sport ITBs. You know, with an 80s A6 Corolla, you know, the intake pipes were the velocity stacks, and then this is all welded for a B16. I'm very curious as to the history on this manifold and, you know, the production, how many they made and whatnot. Because I think the only other car I know that has the same or similar manifold as me is what's his name, Mauricio. He has a blue EG, you know, M7s and ITR with same ITBs. So if you guys didn't know, if you come to Ace Hardware, they literally carry chrome bolts. Just a lot. And for the guys that love zinc, just so much. But this is my little gem for whenever I'm finding bolts. They literally have these in chrome. So just passing that along. Yeah, I only went to Ace just because it's like convenient, it's close to home. You know, like, don't get me wrong, I support Frank and Downstar. Like, obviously I'm gonna be ordering some bolts from him for my motor, for my transmission, for some stuff for my engine bay. But this little stuff, like, sometimes you can't wait. I'm patient but impatient. But like I said, Ace is convenient, it's right down the street. So I'll say, hey, I'll just go there, get this, and change all the bolts on my ITBs real quick. Let's get back to the house, get this thing done, and then we can actually paint my I want to paint my intermediate shaft that goes to my block, get that painted. That's one of the less thing I got to work on, and then catch some football. Let's do it. All right, so we got our bolts up, got our locking washers on there. Let's change all these bolts now. Time to clean this bad boy up because it's got to go on the block. It's very, very greasy. Whew. Yeah, I'm super OCD with stuff like this. And I want to make sure everything is crispy and clean. Oh, I'm gonna need more than this. So after cleaning the crap out of this thing, I don't really want to get in here because it's gonna be obviously inside, but this whole shaft got cleaned out in here. Nice and clean. I'm just gonna spray some more and get a little more in these grooves. I'm not trying to get too much. I gotta mask it off next, and then, like I said, this I'm gonna paint black, and this I'm gonna paint silver. So just probably go over it again, just clean it up. I'm not super OCD, but I just want to get this thing blinging again. I'm just gonna scrub here a little bit more, and then get some paint in. All right, so I masked off the extra parts because I have hella OCD. any Honda guy, any guy that built a Nissan, whatever, if you guys go full in detail, this is the shit that we're going into. Literally the bolts that go these 3 bolts that go to the block, I had to mask this off. This part of the shaft, to mask that off. This part of the shaft, because this will be a different color, so this will be black, this will be silver, and this is just another part that goes into the block, so that's masked off. And I gotta just mask off this last part, but I'm thinking I'm gonna just say fuck it and just leave it and paint it. All right, so we got the first coat applied. It just sucks because it's like 5 o'clock and I probably got like another hour of sunlight before this dries. Let's see what happens, but I'm gonna let this dry off real quick and then apply a second coat. Well, it came out pretty good, I guess. It really doesn't matter because it's gonna be on the back of the block. But I masked it off pretty well to where, you know, this stuff doesn't get any paint on it. I got the inside where the bolts go. I masked that off. I did happen to get some overspray right here, but I'll touch that up later. But for the most part, it's not too bad. So I'm gonna let it dry overnight. I might even hit it tomorrow or this week with the second coat. I just want to get it ready so I can send it, take it to Tristan so we can mount this on the block. And then I got some other parts I need to order and get those to him so that the block's basically completely done, and then we can start getting ready to assemble the head. Well, I got the parts clean, got this half shaft painted finally. The motor's still at Tristan right now getting built. I just gotta order Louis a water pump, oil pump, and tensioner, and just pick up a bunch of bolts and stuff from Honda. And I got on our next episode, we're gonna test fit the MF8s and some other things for you guys. That's all I'm gonna say. We're test fitting the wheels, and we got some other stuff. So with that, you said, you guys have a good weekend. Catch your football games today. You guys just be safe. And you know what? Like I practice saying be safe because tomorrow's never promised. And you know, with the way things are all going on in society nowadays, like I said, tomorrow's never promised. So have fun and live life to the fullest, and just be smart about what you do and be safe doing it. I feel like our parents tell us that often, but you know, as friends, you know, doesn't matter where you're from, how you grew up, but just saying be safe or get home safe, it's just a small thing of watching out for your friends. Let them know that you care for them. And that's one thing I always try to share with everyone is be safe and, you know, get home safe, or let me know when you get home. But be safe is one of the biggest things I always say, because I've had my share of things when I was younger, and I learned from them, and I do make some stupid decisions from time to time. But you know, some decisions that we make, either it's a lesson, you know, these lessons, either you grow from it, or you learn from it. That's the way to put it. But the next thing, another video I want to do is I want to do a day in the life with you guys, because I work full time, and on the weekends is the time that I really have to really work on that hatch. So I want to do a day in life, just, you know, show you what a normal day is for me with, you know, going to work. And after that, I mean, I feel like a lot of the guys on YouTube that are like really big in it, you know, their careers are based off YouTube, building cars. And for some of us, like this is a hobby, and building our cars is just something that it calms us down. And you know, I have other things that calm me down, whether it's going to the gym or listening to music or just hanging out with friends and family. But cars has always been my thing. So we'll do that this week. We'll do a day in the life at work. And like I said, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Please share. We're gonna have some merch coming soon. I have another brand I'm doing, so it's really hard to kind of do three things at one time: work, clothing brand, and YouTube. So with that, again, you guys, thank you. Have a good week. Peace.